Let's start. Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Intern Talk for Core Mechanical Opportunities by IITG Racing. Our speakers for today's talk are Nikhil Upadhyay, who was the former event head of IITG Racing and an intern at Bajaj Auto. Next, we have Ketkee Sabde, a foreign research intern at MITACS, and Shardul Shinde, the former team captain of our club and intern at Mercedes-benz. Also, we'll be having a Q&A session at the end, so feel free to ask your doubts, or you can just put them in the chat box. So without wasting much time, let's begin. Over to you, Nikhil Bhaiya.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Is my camera visible? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're visible.
Sure, then I'll start sharing. Uh, I actually I did not have a lot of time to, so please make do with whatever I have. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
All right. So hi guys. Thank you, Shri, for the introduction. So we have divided this intern talk in three parts. I will cover the on-campus part of industrial internships. Shrup will, Ketkee will cover uh, off-campus internships, and Shardul will cover off-campus industrial internships. So without wasting much time, I'll start with my internship experience, and I hope whatever I have to share will add up to your preparation even by a bit. That'll be great. So let's start. So something that I wanted to focus on, which something I wanted to know last year, was important dates for this internship period. That because you will have to prepare accordingly, and I was very much interested in this. So I've shown the dates for as of this. These are for our time. So before CV submission, placements will ask you to submit your CVs around late July. For us, it was 20 July, and later it was extended by a day. But don't wait for the extension. All right, matlab, these things are something that you should not procrastinate about. Be very specific in these things. And Google actually comes earlier than that. That is SDE drive. So Google comes around came on 9th July, and we were asked to submit our CVs on 20th July. Then Bajaj is the first core company and one of the only few companies that comes to our campus for internship, summer internship third year. So Bajaj actually comes in spot round. Earlier it used to come in spot round one. Now it comes in spot round two. If you don't know the difference between slot and spot round, matlab, I'll clear it at in the FAQ section if you in case. But placement cell will hold a talk about this. What is slot round? What is spot round? What are the differences? They'll clear generic doubts about internship and placement. This is just for specific to core. So Bajaj comes on 13th August. We had our tests and all about on 15th and 17th August, and our results came on 17th August. Yes. Then Shree Siemens is another company that came on 5th January. Other than this, REC was another company that came a little later, but that was not exactly core. It was a technical engineer profile, but it was more managerial of sorts. Then what you should do for now. So your pre-internship preparation, that is as of now. So it depends a lot on the company that is visiting your campus. All right, let's take Bajaj for instance. So Bajaj is in the automobile sector. So the questions, the sort of assessment that you'll expect will be very much centered around this. Well, it'll be very much related to what they are actually working on. So it depends from company to company. So you should prepare according to the company. This is a little more niche. I'll come to the generic terms. How you should prepare more generically. So then there's a basic run through, or you should do a basic run through of core subjects from first year. And why am I stressing on this from first year? Because earlier before us, there were I have heard of an interview where the interviewer asked to differentiate between first angle projection and third angle projection. Now this is very basic and taught in first year, but in case you miss it, and he might have some sort of assessment based on this, and you might lose your chance. So you should have a basic understanding of generic course contents from your first year. Other than that, prepare two subjects thoroughly. So this is very important. It is generally advised to have two core subjects very strongly prepared. That is for your technical interview. Now, when I say core subjects, these are specifically amongst the lot of solid mechanics, fluid mechanics, then thermodynamics, maybe QM. Some companies treat QM as very core, and some do not. And maybe material science. So you should have, okay, solid mechanics is very, it is one of the most important topics in mechanical core is what I feel. Others may disagree, but that is what I feel. So you should prepare at least two subjects very thoroughly, and you should be very fluent in these. Other than that, help your peers. So when I say help your peers, even though this is a competition, you will be competing against them, you should help them out, because the next thing that I mentioned is make your CVs. So CV building is very important. If you haven't already started yet, start working on your CVs and get it checked by multiple personnel, including your peers, your seniors, because what might seem right to you, but you need a lot of perspective when building your CV, because it is a major deciding factor for internships. You might not know this, or you might not feel it this way, but I have felt personally that the questions that are thrown at you are very much based on your CV, and you even have the ability to turn around and twist those questions based on how you answer them. So prepare your CV very, give it a lot of thought, because it is in the end very important. Get it checked by multiple peers. Your wording is very important. So individually, there are a lot of sections in the CV. There would be an experience section. If you have any prior experience, any industrial or academic experience, you can mention that related to core. Then there would be a project section. The project section is very important. So you can mention different projects in the core field. You can even mention your course projects. You just need to get a letter of approval from an email from the concerned faculty. So you just have to mail them that I did this project under your guidance, and I was hoping if I could include it in my CV, and they'll be more than willing to reply yes, you can go ahead. So you can even include course projects in your CV. And what I would suggest is keep two of your strongest projects at the top. And another thing that I would advise, maybe I'm a little against it, not to include your BTP in the course project in your CV. Sorry, not to include your BTP in the CV. So the second yearites who will be in third year, uh, make sure you choose your BTP topics very wisely. Your BTP topics, your BTP professors, your BTP partners. See the professor whom you want to work under. Ask the previous senior who has a project under them, and choose it very wisely, because you'll be working on it for 2 years, and it will it will greatly affect not just your CV, but your profile, and even help you get a reference and a publication. And I would advise against mentioning it in your BTP. Advice against mentioning your BTP in the in your CV, because it might be possible that the interviewer is interested in your BTP topic, and it is possible. Even in my case, my whole technical interview was around one project. And if that is your BTP for which you have only worked maybe, like, let's say, a month or two, and you don't have a lot of knowledge, you might be in a dicey situation. So I had included my BTP, and I was lucky. It's a lot about luck as well. I had included my BTP, but I would advise you against keeping it in your CV, unless you are in a shortage of projects. Other than that, one thing I would advise against is not to lie in your CV. All right, don't mention skills that you don't possess. It's all right. Technical software skills, they might not be very, they might not scrutinize your software skills as such, but they will know. The interviewer will know if you are lying in your CV. He will ask questions, something that he finds, a little out of the blue. He might ask questions around that, and he will know. And it does not look good. So I would strongly suggest you not to lie in your CV, not to boast things. It does get so the placement team does check whatever credentials you're putting up, and obviously you won't be lying about that. But whatever the things you mention, try to be as true to yourself as possible. Then do mock GDs. So when I said help your peers, so, and it's not just mock GDs. Now, I mean, GDs are not very common as of now in internships, but earlier GDs is basically group discussion. You're given a topic, and they want to see how you act out in a group. Your team bonding, and how much of a leader you are, how much of a team player you are, and how much of an initiative you take to lead the conversation. So that is what group discussions are. So you can hold mock GDs amongst yourself and mirror interviews. So one thing that is very important in your interview is confidence and how you speak, how you present yourself, because ultimately you are selling yourself. I mean, it sounds little off topic, but ultimately you are branding yourself and you are asking the interviewer, you are making the interviewer count your, as counting you as an asset. Sounds very rash, but in the end, that is what you are doing. And if you are able to, brand yourself to able to point out your qualifications in that manner, you will be able to, have a better chance of securing an internship, because how you present your words, how confidently you speak, you have a very great chance of steering the interview the way you want. Matlab, the way you answer the questions and how you answer them will ultimately decide what he asks next. So you have a lot of power. Don't think that the interviewer is the one in control. You have, let's say, half the control whenever you are going for an interview. You have the power to steer the conversation the way you want. You just have to be very smart about it. You just have to be confident in your answers and you have to be true. The interviewer will help you from your side. So we'll come to that later. And Google basic interview questions for company profile. So there are some basic interview questions you will find maybe on Quora or InterviewBit. Google specific questions based on the company profile and HR questions. We'll come to that. So I'll explain. I'll give you a brief of my internship, experience. BAL is Bajaj Auto Limited. Bajaj Auto Limited. So it came on 13th August. And we were asked to fill the forms in a day. So these timelines are very strict. So make sure you don't miss out on any email or on the group. So you'll get a message on the group. So don't make sure you don't miss out these opportunities on the group or an email. So and we had a 2-hour test on 15th of August on Independence Day. Yeah. It was MCQ questions, 2 hours, and 1/4 of it was around mental ability and general aptitude and reasoning. The rest, let's say 3/4, was on technical questions of core. And like I said previously, it depends a lot on the profile of the company, the questions they will be throwing at you. They have a general pool of questions, and randomly they'll be given you if you have given bits entrance exam. It's a lot of like it's a lot like that. So for Bajaj, it was they had technical questions on gears, gear methodology, engine specification. So engine is something that Bajaj loves. Be it engine specifications, terminology, knocking, what is the difference between a two-stroke and a four-stroke engine, what is SI, CI cycles. Then related to engines, you people who have already had their thermodynamics course, that is secondary rights, you would have learned about thermodynamic cycles. So that is something they also ask about on the Brayton cycle and Otto and diesel cycle. And they might even ask you that in the interview. So these are things that are important. So it depends a lot on the profile of the company, the questions that will be given at you. Then materials and basics of manufacturing. Other than that, some parts of lubrication might also come. Yeah, lubrication was also important. Uh, then other than this, psychometric test. So there's a test after people who clear the aptitude technical test. There's a psychometric test, and you'll be given two options. You have to choose on a scale what you feel describes you better. And the key to answering what I was told, and I find it true, you'll be given questions later on throughout the course of the test. You will be thrown questions which will ask you to stay true to your personality. So you must not switch your personality. There'll be questions you won't be sure which is more right and which is more wrong, but whatever you have chosen previously, so stay true to yourself. Don't switch your side. That is all I would say. Psychometric test is not very hard, and people don't generally get you know don't generally not clear this, but you might never know. Then there's the technical interview, and what I said, it was for us entirely based on our project. Like the interview had asked me to tell me about my most recent project, and I had chosen my project of automobile club. So I am a part of aerodynamics and ADS subsystem, and I started explaining the whole theory. And luckily because he was in Bajaj, and we use a KTM Duke 390 engine. So he started asking all sorts of questions. Where does the heat leak, and how can we, all sorts of questions. And he even asked me technical specifications of the engine, power ratings and all, because he was from Bajaj and we use a Duke 390 engine, and Bajaj owns the proprietary soul of making Duke bikes in India. So he so the questions that he was aiming at me were based a lot on the answers that I was telling him. It's not that I answers all the questions correctly. It's no. All he wants to see is if I am able to answer these questions, if I'm confident in my approach, if I have that problem solving ability. It's not that he does not want a finished product. He wants someone whom he can train. So you must show that quality to him that yes, you are someone who does have the required skill set. You might not have the experience, but you are there to you. So you must exhume that confidence. So other than this, like I said, for us it was entirely based on on our project, and this was just one project which we discussed over the course of the next 20-30 minutes for my interview. Early, it can even be, so it depends from interview to interview, from panel to panel. It can even be that he asks questions based on your core subject, and for that I have asked you to prepare two core subjects very strongly, and he might ask questions around that solid mechanics and all. They even ask general questions on solid mechanics in general, but make sure you prepare two subjects very strongly. Then so these are technical core questions, and they are not generally not very hard. They are not very in depth and all, but you must have a generic overview of the subjects that you're preparing. Then there's the HR interview. People who cross the technical interview are invited for an HR interview, and it's not that, don't think that people who are selected for the HR interview, it's a given for many other companies that people who qualify for the HR interview are generally selected, but this was not the case for us. They even, maybe they had some previous mindset, I don't know, but they even sorted us on the basis of the HR interview. So for this, I would, like I said, practice speaking in the mirror. How much confident you are, because it's not a one day thing. If you are confident and if you have that habit of speaking out loud, if you have that habit of, it's not just how you frame things in your head. If you have that habit of speaking out loud, how you present yourself, it'll it'll show how confident you are, and it'll really affect your overall appearance to the interviewer. This is, I'm not saying it's a bar if you're a little shy, or if you have a little, if you have a little hiccup in your fluency. This is not a problem, but this could be a plus point. So prepare generic HR questions, Google generic HR questions, describe yourself, where do you look yourself in 5 years, what are your strengths and weaknesses, what do you expect from Bajaj Auto. Then you must have that attitude that yes, you will stay in the company. You are there to stay. That is the attitude that you should possess while giving your answers. And do you have any questions for us? This is your time to, if you want to butter them up, maybe ask a question or two. If you have any specific question about some latest technology that they're working on, if you want to ask that question, or if you want to ask what sort of work you'll be doing. So this is your chance to, add a little extra to add a little brownie points to your profile. Other than this, so that was all. Based on this, they took four of us. They generally, it's kind of a custom. They select four people for the Octane internship, which is Bajaj's recruitment drive. Three were from mechanical, and one is from electrical. And yeah, that's all. I'm currently here for my internship in Pune. So these are other on-campus opportunities. Other than Bajaj, like I said, Sri Siemens also did come. The internship process is similar. There's a test, there's an HR round, sorry. Sri Siemens even had a project. So they had allotted projects, and based on the projects and how you answered a specific set of questions. Actually, Shubham is unavailable today. He'll be able to better tell you about the details of Sri Siemens. You can ping him up. These are some other on-campus opportunities that used to visit our campus. So there's Bajaj, there's Sri Siemens. Then Reliance came 2 years back. ITC used to come regularly until 2 years ago. Then this is KPIT. They have a KPIT Sparkle program. Siemens, Schlumberger, and Suzuki internship program. So this is a Japanese endured program. Now the details of this, I'm not very fluent in this, because they were not present for my internship drive. But at the end of this video, so you don't have to jot down things. Sorry, I forgot to tell that in the beginning. You don't have to jot down things if you are. I'll share the entire slide, and I've prepared a small drive link, a repository, which will contain basics, things that I found useful, and you might as well. And I'll share that with you. So don't worry. You don't have to jot things down. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that. It's almost the end. Okay, so here's the talk. So nothing serious, but what I would tell you, one thing is not to keep core as your second option. Just because you are in mechanical does not mean you have to keep core as an option. I'm not asking you not to apply for core internships. Do, but don't treat it as a backup. Is all I'm saying. All right. If you are interested in core, if you are very passionate and you are sure, then go for it. If you're not, because even the pay is less compared to any SD profile, or the pay is obviously less. And I'm not saying it does not get better. It does get better, but it takes a little experience, and it does not stagnate. It does get better, but it takes a little experience, and it is not as rewarding as an SD job. But your work will be, if you are really interested, you will enjoy your work. The work culture might be a little primitive because most of the core companies, and I'm basing this on based on my experience, they have a little. So you won't find many hot-headed young bloods exactly in core companies. That is just solely my experience. You will find such people, but the age limit will stagnate more to, around 30s or 35. So the work culture might be a little primitive. It might not be similar to what you see on other companies. I'm not here to discourage you. Sorry if you feel that way. And I am still truant to whatever profile I've taken. Even I'll still continue. I don't have a backup. Generally, I would ask you to have a backup to do a little bit of coding. It is not necessary. It is not necessary, but it's good if you have a backup. I don't have a backup, and I'll admit that proudly. I am true to my profile. I'm not here to discourage you. Sorry if you felt that way. Then, other than your passion, your confidence is very important. I guess I've stressed a lot on that. CPI. So ultimately, I had shown earlier what was the CPI cutoff for Bajaj. It was around 7, and for Sri Siemens there was no CPI cutoff. So there's a CPI cutoff which you need to cross. But other than that, people might say that it is not based on CPI, but it might be, because based on the panel, to have a tiebreaker of sorts, they might judge you on your CPI. And I'm not asking you to suddenly increase your CPI. That's not possible. But just stating a fact that if you have a good CPI, be confident. If you don't worry. It's not everything. You can win them over with your confidence, with your answers, with your knowledge. Don't worry. But it might be a factor. And I'm stating this because there's the next factor, luck. So it's a lot about luck. Me me saying that I was lucky that I am sitting here, being a part of this internship type, might sound as modesty, but it eventually was a lot about luck. And you will have to accept things that way. Matlab, it might be that you are more capable than someone who has been selected, and I feel that way same, because I was not very well prepared. People who were more prepared for this might not have landed this, and I did. So that is why telling you, if you are not selected, don't be disheartened. Matlab, obviously internships are important, but it's not everything, and there are a lot of other options. This is just one of the options, that on campus opportunities. There are a lot of off campus opportunities and academic opportunities, which the other speakers will stress upon. Just give a brief look up for university program. Ketkee will stress more on that. MITACS, the Charpak. Then approach company HR. So the conversion rate might be very low. Don't be disheartened. Don't be lazy. Don't procrastinate in this. Continuously, do not hesitate in mailing or texting HRs regarding your CV, and be ever ready for an interview. Matlab, they might accept your profile. Okay, so I won't tell you a lot about this. Shardul will be more specific on this. Here's the repo link. I'll add it in the text chat. So I've added previous year's intern talk. The speakers we had last year were very much more experienced than us. They had done internships in different sectors, and do go through it. Even though even if you go it in 2x speed, do go through it. They have a lot of knowledge to share, which I am sure I don't have, and I am very grateful to them. And I would even suggest you to go through them. Then there are other links that I have shared. Practice questions from uh, India Bix. I've added those links. There are some blogs that were shared with me. Other than that, I've shared CVs from. So I've shared my CV as well as CVs from our seniors that might help you in, preparing, making your own CV. If you have any questions, I have shared my number here. I don't know why I added my email. No one mails people. So feel free to contact me. Text WhatsApp message would suffice. If it's urgent, go ahead and call me. I might not reply immediately, but I will reply. That is all from my side. We'll have an FAQ section at the end. Shoot your questions at me. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
yes.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Ketkee and I'm currently in Canada working for a MITACS internship. So I'm going to be talking about that. And I'm sorry I did not have much time to prepare a good PPT. So I'll just show what I have. Just a moment. Yeah. Uh, okay. So I'm just going to share my screen. Is my PPT is not visible? I don't know why. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the MITACS Global Research Internship. So, so this is basically about me. I work under Dr. Sergey Mukhov at Concordia University, which is in Montreal, and my project is not exactly correlated, but MITACS offers like a vast range of projects and opportunities. So anyone who's interested in core as well, they have a lot of professors and universities, like they work with a lot of professors and universities, so you won't have any problem finding uh, a project of your interest maybe. So yeah, my this is my project topic. It is basically development for a software, a web service. So I'm going to be developing a web service for this software that they've prepared, and this is of research field. It must be obvious. Okay, so talking about MITACS, as I said, it is an organization that brings eligible interns from all over the world, and they work on different projects under Canadian professors. And yes, these project topics are not only limited to engineering; they also include various like topics such as social sciences, biology, etc., etc. So there are quite a few topics also in mechanical. I had a look, and yes, all of this period that you'll be living in Canada will be completely sponsored by them, and everything will be provided. So yes, that's basically about it. I can also share the links of where to apply and about this program. And now I'm going to talk about the preparation of what I did. So this might not apply for core, I guess, but yeah, I'll start talking about. I did not know actually about MyTax before when I was preparing. So first, when I started preparing, it was in like 2020. It was just purely out of sheer interest. I worked on a few projects in JavaScript web development from Udemy, and I also did a project or two from the coding club that they offered. And yes, my whole intern period, I had built a CV. It was a pretty, I guess, good one, I guess, but it still did not land me an STE intern as I had hoped. But then what happened is that I found about MyTax through an email. Oh yes, and as Nikhil said, definitely keep check on your emails because such opportunities can be missed if you don't check it regularly. So yeah, I found out about MyTax and applied. I had no hope because it was quite competitive. I've heard, and yeah, because you are basically competing from people all over the world, so it is definitely more competitive. And okay, so I'm going to be talking about the eligibility and applications. For Indians, it is a minimum of 7.5 CPI, and my CPI at the time that I applied was around 7.7, so I did not have much hope. But yes, things work out, I guess. My CV was strong enough, so I can even share you that if you're interested. And yes, the applications start around August and September each year. So you have to fill out the site, and you have to like put in your details, your CV, everything over there. And there's a portal through which you can apply. And how the application is that there are a few projects, like not few, there are many projects, and you can search for certain skills, and it will show up what kind of project match your skills. So you can choose up to 7 projects, and based on your interest, and you can rank them. And then yeah, basically after you're done with all of that, it's just playing the waiting game. You have to wait until any professor likes your CV and all of that. So I had to wait, I guess, for around 4 or 5 months, because I had even forgotten about it, that I had applied for it. So I applied in August, and the first round of selections or whatever matching process is there, it happens in December. So I was not there for the, like, I was not lucky enough to be selected for the first round. So I had to wait until a month more. I guess January. That's when I uh, got an email from my professor. So once a professor contacts you, it's basically like back and forth between you and the professor. So he or she, they can just ask you to do tasks or ask for interviews, and it's up to them how many interviews they want, or how less interviews they want. So in my case, I was quite lucky. We had one single interview, and it was like for like 2 hours almost. And it wasn't anything too formal. It was just first introduction and stuff. And yeah, he asked me very basic questions based on my CV and my skills. And yeah, it was basically just random stuff. And he just talked to me about his project, asked me relevant questions, if I knew how to do this, if I knew how I could implement this in this project, and if I could do that, etc. And we kept in touch for a month, and then in February, I just got a confirmation email that I've been selected. So basically, that's it. And I can also share you like my details, exact details on how I prepared. But I can do that over text because I don't have much time right now. I have a meeting. So okay, and yeah, that's it. And this is my email. I can also put my number in the chat box if you would like to contact me. And keep in mind that this is not just applicable for software related internships. It is also applicable for core related, and also in mechanical. It is good to start looking for internships right away off campus, even because we have a course which is in which it is mandatory for us to have a summer internship, and preferably offline, so you have some industrial knowledge. And so yeah, I would suggest you start looking for internships right away. Don't just rely on the on campus ones. I guess that's it from my side. And if you have any questions, you can just let me know. Okay. Thank you. So Shardul's gonna speak next. Yeah, I'll give it to him now.
Yes. Please tell if I'm audible to you all.
Yes, you are.
Just let me share my screen. Okay. My screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm here to share with you my experience while I approached off-campus industrial internships. Let me turn off my camera because the network here is not that good. Okay. So yeah. Here's a brief intro. I'm Shardul. Currently, I'm an intern at Mercedes-benz Research and Development India Center in Bangalore. I have been captain at IITG Racing, so you might know me from there. I will be mostly talking about opportunities in R&D in Indian automobile industry. As it was my goal. But these things that I'll be telling are mostly similar for all core profiles. So you all will be soon going through this seek for internship that I went through. And I will just get you familiarized instead of spoon feeding you. Nikhil covered a lot of details also for on-campus internship, and Ketkee also covered a lot of details, specifics about research internships. So I won't be covering that. Those same things apply here too. So here you see the brands. I hope you identify all of them. So all of these brands have independent R&D centers in India. So yes, the list is quite big, unlike current on-campus situation. Also, this is not an exhaustive list. If you're going towards supply chain or logistics like profiles, your list will be longer. More than 90% of automobile brands in the world have logistics and sales teams in India. Many like Audi, Volkswagen, BMW have manufacturing facilities also, but R&D is a bit limited. I had an idea that not many companies will come for on-campus internship drive, and Bajaj has a history of recruiting based on CPI. So I knew off-campus was just better in terms of chances for me. So I started around July last year. So more or less same around this time. Over on campus, there are some advantages like you won't get into unwanted profiles. This happens in on campus. You may want R&D, but they can allot you operations-based projects. Also, it could happen that CCD takes the company's side in some issues instead of student side. They try not to do that and not to get into such situations, but these things can happen. You can also reject off-campus opportunity if you get a better one. Same company may not hire you again. You can do this in on-campus. You cannot do this in on-campus. Let's say you get into Bajaj and later JLR opens for mechanical. You can't do that. You can't do anything now. But that is mostly situation for toppers. So don't worry. On-campus is very straightforward and best paying also, where everything is already arranged in proper steps. But the things you will learn in while approaching off campus, they are just priceless. So let's talk about what internships industry offers. Academic research internships are covered by Ketkee. So moving on to industrial. What our college expects us to do is summer internship, which Nikhil covered earlier. This is about 8 weeks long. It is appropriate time for profiles like SD. My opinion is that it may not be enough for 4. But yeah, that is what our college allows. And also Ketkee told about you that in 7th semester, you have to submit your certificate you got from the internship to the department, right? So for mechanical, it is compulsory to have something as an internship in your summer. Okay, so don't forget that. Winter internships are less than 4 weeks long, so not preferred for core. But if you find any, then don't ignore them. Finally, semester-long internships with period of 6 months or more. These are actually longer than a semester. I prefer these over others for core. These are designed to bring those candidates into full-time employment. If you find such internships online and you can manage them to do your work along with the academics, then yeah, go for it. Now, how do these companies recruit interns? More reputed and big the company, more standard and fixed the process is, best talent they generally take from campus recruitment. These positions that they take from campus recruitment are generally exclusive and are not listed anywhere else. All these vacancies are posted on companies, all other vacancies are posted on companies' career section on their website. You will have to apply by giving all your required information under a particular job code. Further, you will have to check on the same website for updates, or they will contact you. LinkedIn also has a lot of internships posted on it. It may direct you to the career section website of that company only. If not, then just fill all the information there and they will contact you. Similar it is for the websites like Internshala, Indeed, etc. Other ways to recruit interns may be useful to you that you will find yourself as you go along. Also, understand importance of LinkedIn. Okay, when you get into industry, you will get to know that talent is not like talent is just one of the pillar that supports one's career. Experience and connections are equally, and as you go further, become more important. So connect with people from industry, talk and learn through their experience. When you show your IIT tag on LinkedIn profile, it gets very easy for you to connect with people in an industry. I would say this is a gift that you have earned, and not every student who wants to enter industry has it. Okay, so use it well. Now, when you start approaching different companies for internships, this is going to be about 4 to 8 months long process. So plan everything accordingly. With good time and thought given to the profile selection, profile decision, list all the companies in your domain, plan an approach strategy, and then set priorities based on it. Things that you will write in your CV, emails, messages, or what you say in your earlier interviews are not going to be perfect. It will take some rejections before you perfect them. You can make trial approaches for companies which are not that high on your list. These rejections should not be from companies that you really want to join. Once you gain confidence on that, then you can go for dream companies and work your way down the list, which has companies in order of decreasing preference, or you can do other way around. Think of both ways in prior. The list will be long. So what I did was made an Excel sheet. I did everything I was doing, and I used to mark red when I see no chance of getting into a company, and mark yellow if that application needs a follow-up. Maybe blue if there's a good chance. Now let's say you choose a company. First, you should see if they have any recruitment programs, internship drive, or processes. Mostly reputed ones have career sections. So apply there. Then start finding appropriate people on LinkedIn. They might be HRs, technical employees, managers, and interns. Try cold mailing or messaging them. How you introduce and tell about your interest is very important. See how many replies you get based on those messages, and improve accordingly. It will get better with time. When you talk with people in the industry, you will learn many valuable things. The current industry situation, demand, politics that goes around, and Indian work culture. What is corporate jobs and many more. For me, this was the best part of my experience, and further, this way you can find people who can refer you also. So about referral, we will talk later. After applying or sending some mail, you should send a follow-up after appropriate time. Then two more things. Find a backup internship. You can reject this letter or do it maybe somewhere near home or at a website which offer internships when you pay them a fee. But like, don't ever pay for your internship. I did one such internship. What they wanted me to do in a month could be done just in a day. They just do it for money. They generally ask a fee, but I gave one of their exams and got full scholarship. So try for such scholarship. About the last 2 points, we will discuss further. Companies have a ton of applications and they do not go through all of them. That is just not possible. So how can your application be one of those which were reviewed? So first is be an early bird. Initial applications are reviewed thoroughly. Try to be one of them. This increases your chances of getting a good response. I have missed a good intern because of being late. So yeah. Second and very important is referral. So this is my definition of a referral. When an internal employee at a company informs their team responsible for recruitment about a particular candidate being suitable for an already posted vacancy.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Can you speak loudly, Bhaiya?
Is there a noise coming through my voice, like behind my voice?
Okay.
Hello.
But it's no, but it's a little low actually.
Okay. I will try to speak louder. Just a minute. Okay, so I will try to speak louder. So this is the definition: when an internal employee at a company informs their team responsible for recruitment about a particular candidate being suitable for already posted vacancy, he gives that candidate a referral. Now, if you have a referral, then your application will be accepted, or the application will be accepted and you will get that internship, or it will be rejected and you will be notified. But it will not get ignored. That is certain. Reputed companies have separate processes for referrals, and these companies trust referred people more than ones who got in without one. So ideally, in India, freshers have only two ways to enter a company, either through campus recruitment or by applying externally with a referral. For public sector companies, it is like mandatory to have your relative inside. For DRDO or ISRO, they do confidential R&D stuff. So they have security concerns and hence they recruit to reference. Now, why should someone refer you? First is employees get bonus when when their referred candidate is accepted by the company. Second, they are helping someone who they want to help. So yeah, they will not waste any time on referring some random dude. They will only refer if they know the candidate, know about his or her skills, and yeah. Further, who should you ask for a referral? So yeah, any employee can refer you. So as we already talked about building connections, if you get yourself known to some employee, then he can refer you. You can ask for referral from an alumni also. But just don't go to them and say कि भैया मुझे referral चाहिए. Be it unknown employee, alumni or relative, understand their situation, build good relation first. Make them believe that you are worthy of their attention. Make them believe that you are worthy candidate for the internship. And if that is done, you will get the internship. Okay. So yeah. Now I want to talk a little bit about what do you really want to do. So Currently, there are options in front of you, like profiles. Profiles like SD, core, data scientist, data analyst, finance, consulting, product management, many more are there. Companies come for all of these profiles in placements. One aspect of internship is to see if you really enjoy working in your profile. But I would suggest think of this earlier. I remember around February last year. No, February this year only. I was so tensed, I nearly started preparing for SD, the SD profile. Because let's face the reality. Even if you start preparing today, you will get a better package in SD than any of the core company. Seriously, think about that. Around the same time, I received a reply from Mercedes-benz, and that was scary. Now, I was happy, but I had never been that tensed in my life. So I spent about 15 days just thinking, talking with seniors, looking for post-graduation programs in universities in India, foreign universities. And up to that point, I had no internship, but I had a good idea of situation in Indian industry. Finally, I made a decision, and I kind of achieved peace. I choose the core profile. Now I'm so clear about my decision that even if I do not get placed in any company, I know that I will do something meaningful at that time with my life, and I will stay in core only. I suggest every one of you to give time to think about this. Remove the doubts in your mind. If you choose core, then your friends will be getting stipend in internships that you will not earn after getting placed. They will have to prepare just to get better company. You will have to prepare just to get into a company. So yeah, that is going to be hard. See, we are not here to demotivate you, but these are just facts that you should know well before. Bajaj comes every year for placements and pays well. Startups, new electric vehicle startups are starting to come. And after all of this, there is the option to go for PG. So for internships, so yeah, for internships, never pay a company to give you an internship, but also don't expect a good pay. Just find the best place to earn experience, maybe use it as an advantage in placement. Okay. So these are just some words that I found on the internet, or maybe I wrote them myself. Most important is to be consistent. Somewhere in your dream company list, someone is looking for exactly what you have to offer. Success doesn't come to you, you go to it. And this one is very relatable for me. Just be consistent, and one day suddenly you will have an internship that you deserve. That's all I think. I just added what was on top of my mind while preparing for this. If anything is missing, then you can ask me later. I would also suggest that, yeah, Nikhil already told, but yeah. So these are videos from last year. So if you go to the IITG Racing YouTube page, then you can see these two videos, Opportunity for Mechanical Part 1 and Part 2. I would suggest you to see both of these videos. And yeah, that's all. Now we are open for questions. So let's answer them.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So now guys, we are open for questions. If you have any questions, you can just unmute and ask or put them in the chat box.
I had a question to Shardul Bhaiya. So, like you mentioned about starting out early for off-campus opportunities, but suppose you get selected in one and later you try out campus opportunities, and then like there's some norm, right? If you get selected on campus, you can't. I mean, if you wish to drop it, you will be debarred from placement process as well, something of that sort. So, in such a
Yeah.
scenario, leaving the off-campus opportunity, does it leave a bad impact of you in that company?
See, you are just a fresher, so the company is not going to put a lot of pressure on you already. So they are not going to give you some project that they want to be completed very bad.
No,
Okay.
like you mentioned about switching from one off-campus opportunity to the other, then you
Yeah, that's
mentioned
what
like they
that is
might
what
not
I
hire
am
you
stating.
again.
Yeah, they might not hire you again. There is rule for that. Okay, so see, the people who are who have recruited you, or the people under whom you worked, they are not going to remember anything after a long period. Okay, the people are going to people are going to change. What you should fear is the period that company sets. Companies have such period. Like if a person resigns, then he cannot join again for such period. So I don't know these periods. They are different for different companies. But yeah, don't fear about the impression that you put on people. They are not going to remember. They may not be there after some time. But yeah, just fear the period, and that is going to be very short. And also, if you are making such decisions to leave one company and join another, so another is on campus, then you are good. So because the CCD handles it very well, you don't have to care much. And yeah, for on campus, you can leave without thinking much. But yeah, if you are getting another off campus internships, which is better than the previous one, then think of it good and hard. If the next one is confirmed, like you know that you will be joining that surely, then only take such steps. But yeah, don't worry about that impression thing. That is just for a very little period. That will not stay.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Excuse me, I have a query about the internship test that are conducted.
Yeah, go ahead, Astor.
My doubt is that are the test means they are just theoretical, or anything they ask about means uh,
Sorry, theoretical or? Hello.
hello, am I audible?
Go ahead.
You can ask out in Hindi also. That is, we are compatible with Hindi, English, and if not, you can type it in chat also.
Well, I'll answer based on what I got from the question. Questions are mostly MCQ based. I have the Ripple link that I've shared. It contains one or two links, which contains sample papers for Bajaj, and so India Bix has questions. You'll find similar questions. The type of questions is very similar. Even you might even find the same questions in your test. It is not necessary, but I will suggest you to go through them. try to go through them as much as you can in your free time, or once you feel a little confident to go through those questions. They'll give you a glimpse of what sort of questions you will be facing. They're mostly MCQ. They are mostly theory based. Yes.
Yeah, Bhaiya, got it.
Just go through the repo. There's a link for questions on India Bix. You can even find them from a basic Google search. It'll give you a lot of idea of the questions that you'll find in the test. We have dropped our numbers in the chat. You can text us over WhatsApp or call us, and we might reply based on the. We'll try to reply as soon as possible. Other than that, if there are no questions, I guess we can end this session.
Yeah, any more questions? Priyam?
I don't have a question. That was by mistake.
So I suggest all na, go through those last year's videos. So in both videos, there are questions asked by maybe us and on our juniors also. So yeah, you can refer to those questions also. And if you still have any questions, then you can contact us personally. If now there are no questions, then I think we can end here.
All right, fine. So yeah, we can conclude the session. Thanks a lot, Nikhil and Shardul bhai and Ketkee. It was very much insightful, be it regarding on-campus, off-campus, or research internships. So yeah, we'll also be sharing the recording with you guys, and all the three speakers have shared their contact numbers as well. So you can directly talk to them. So yeah, that's it. We can leave. Thanks all again for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. All the best.